Have you ever met someone amazing only to realize, uh-oh, you're both bottoms, or you're both tops, or one of you is a side? There you are, sitting across from someone perfect, and your heart sinks because this can't work, right? After all, so many people believe that sexual compatibility is non-negotiable, but is it really a yes or no question? Turns out the truth about making these connections work will surprise you, and that's what today's video is about. If you're struggling to find someone compatible, or you're afraid you'll end up alone because of sexual incompatibility, it's not your fault. The way gay dating is structured makes it harder than it needs to be. Apps like Grindr put too much emphasis on labels. When you set up your dating profile, you have to label yourself. You must decide in advance if you want to be presented as a top, bottom, side, or something else. Giving so much weight to these labels can seriously limit your connections. Why? Because you end up filtering out potentially great compatible partners based on a single trait before you even met them. These apps train us to think in binary terms, compatible or not compatible, when real attraction and connection are much more complex and fluid than any checkbox can capture. This labeling also makes it seem like position defines identity. But does it really? If you think your identity is defined by the position you enjoy, think again. It's a common mistake people make. They look at what they like doing in bed as the defining characteristic of who they are. But this doesn't make sense. We don't define our entire identity by any other single preference or activity. Think about it. We don't introduce ourselves by our favorite food or sleeping position, right? So why would we let one aspect of sex define our whole identity? Your sexual preferences are just one small part of intimacy, which is just one piece of a relationship, which is just one slice of who you are as a person. Remember that whenever you reduce yourself to a label, you're selling yourself short. So don't let the apps or other people tempt you to think about yourself in terms of labels. Now, there's actually another reason why many of us get it wrong, and I did it too when I was younger. We just naturally pick up ideas from society around us, and honestly, these ideas are often pretty off base. You know how people sometimes connect sexual roles with stuff like who's dominant or submissive, or who's more masculine, like thinking tops are always the manly ones in the relationship. That kind of thinking doesn't actually hold up when you look at real couples. It's just outdated stereotypes that don't reflect how diverse and complex we actually are in our relationships and our bedroom preferences. Let's take an example of how in real life this can seriously limit your dating pool and prevent you from finding real love. So, there's this guy, let's call him Toby. At some point, Toby had to pick a label for himself. Maybe friends kept asking, or dates wanted to know, or he was setting up a dating profile. He remembered trying to bottom a few times and it did not feel great, maybe even painful. So he just decided, okay, guess I'm a top then. Now, when he's swiping through guys, he automatically filters out all the other tops because, sexual compatibility is important. But here's the thing. He made this huge decision based on just a couple of bad experiences. Maybe those experiences weren't great because the other guy didn't really know what he was doing, or maybe Toby was just really nervous at the time. So now he's cutting himself off from all these experiences he might actually enjoy. And worse, he's eliminating tons of amazing guys he could connect with just because this box he put himself to. So, looking at Toby's story, think about your own situation for a sec. How did you figure out what you like or don't like in bed? Even if you're totally convinced you know exactly what positions work for you right now, could you maybe be missing out on something? Now, I get it. Some people feel like their role is absolutely non-negotiable. Others are more like, yeah, I could try different things. But let's say you really feel you can be only a top or only be a bottom, or maybe you're dating someone who feels that way. The big question is, can this kind of relationship actually work? Before we dive into that, I wanted to invite you to my private weekly newsletter where I share insights and strategies for navigating gay dating, relationships, and life in general. The link is in the description. And now to the big question. Is there any hope for having a real, loving relationship for two tops, bottoms, or any other incompatible combination? From what I've seen with couples I know personally, yes, absolutely, plenty of couples make it work. Here's the thing. It's not about who does what in bed. It's really about how you adapt together as a couple. Can you find creative solutions? Can you put your connection ahead of these rigid ideas about sex? I'm not gonna sugarcoat it though. There are some challenges. If neither of you is willing to switch things up or explore, you might end up frustrated. Sex can become this source of tension instead of connection. You might start feeling kind of stuck because there seem to be limited ways to be intimate together. So, what do you do about it? Well, there are a few different ways couples can handle this. One way is to expand what you do in bed. Sex isn't just about who's topping or bottoming, right? There are so many other ways to pleasure each other. Seriously, just Google it and you'll find enough ideas to keep things interesting for years. Another approach is to maybe experiment a little. I know some guys who swore they were strictly top or strictly bottom their whole lives. But then they met someone special who they really trusted, and suddenly they were open to trying new things. It's amazing what can happen when you just keep an open mind and see where things go. Some couples go for ethical non-monogamy. Maybe they bring in a third person occasionally, or they have more of an open relationship while staying emotionally committed to each other. There's lots of ways to arrange this. But the core idea is that you're staying together as partners in life and you're finding ways to enjoy sex together or separately, just getting that one missing element from somewhere else. And you know what? Some couples completely rethink what sex even means for them. There are plenty of gay couples out there who don't have penetrative sex at all. They found their own ways to be intimate and connected that have nothing to do with the traditional top or bottom roles. You get to create your own definition of what good sex looks like in your relationship. When it comes down to it, the most important thing I want you to take away is this. If someone's right for you, they'll want to figure out this stuff together. I've seen so many couples who initially thought they were sexually incompatible, but they found ways to build amazing, fulfilling relationships. A good relationship isn't about what roles you play in bed. It's about how well you connect, how openly you communicate, and how willing you both are to explore and grow together. I'm curious, have you ever been in this situation? How did you handle it? Drop a comment and let me know. Until next video, love you all.